The Liberal Party of Canada is so corrupt. The people that make up the Liberal Party of Canada, which is what the Liberal Party of Canada is, it's people, and the people that make up the Liberal Party of Canada are just irredeemably corrupt. It just never ends. It just keeps going and going and going, and they change leader. Trudeau's gone. Now it's Carney, and it's the same thing. These people are just inveterate liars and cheaters. Liberal operatives planted "Stop the Steal" buttons at Conservative conference. Liberal Party says campaigners regrettably got carried away with use of the buttons. Regrettably got carried away. Let's see, these were like war room Liberal staffers. These were people on the payroll. These were not just random people. These were people at the top. 2 Liberal Party staffers attended last week's Canada Strong and Free networking conference, where they planted buttons that used Trump-style language and highlighted division within the Conservative Party, because that's all the Liberal Party is now through this election. It's just the anti-Trump party. Their entire strategy is to try and paint Pierre Poilievre as Trump, which he is not, by the way. Pierre Poilievre doesn't need to be Trump. Canada and the U.S. are different countries. Trump is a singular figure anyway, right? Nobody's Trump except for Trump. So with their incredible hubris and arrogance, they went out, they had buttons made and went to a Canadian Conservative conference and then passed around these buttons so they could get pictures, they could get press, and then, of course, the press would love it. Press would love it, and that would hurt the Conservative Party. Here's some of the buttons here. So this was posted by Chris Warkentin. These are the buttons Mark Carney's operatives were caught distributing. Okay, so lock Justin up, stop the steal, free Alberta. This wasn't a couple of rogue Liberal staffers. This took planning, designing, and manufacturing. When will Mark Carney denounce his team for importing America-style politics into Canada? If he won't denounce it and fire those responsible, we will know he endorses it. Well, what did he actually say? What did Mark Carney actually say about this? Here we go. So from Mark Slapinski, let's take a look.
Good morning. Kate McKenna from the CBC.
Hi.
Members of the Liberal War Room, so the Central Campaign, distributed "Stop the Steal" buttons at a Conservative event. Given the anti-democratic implications of this phrase, how much does this event undermine the trust in the way that the Liberals operate, and what have you done in response to these revelations?
Thanks for the question. Look, this is totally unacceptable, to be absolutely clear. And I, on behalf of my campaign, I was unaware of this behavior, but on behalf of my campaign, I apologize for it unreservedly. Okay. I've made it absolutely clear to my campaign that this behavior or anything approximating it or in that spirit is unacceptable, cannot happen again.
The leadership, it comes from the top. The leadership comes from the top. These weren't just a couple of randoms that, go put signs out in people's lawns, right? These are people from the war room, all right? This is the kind of atmosphere that he's breeding there. This is totally normal for the Liberal Party, by the way. Completely normal for the Liberal Party. So let's see the original CBC report here.
Trying to prove that. But recently, I learned it was an operation undertaken by the Liberal War Room itself. 2 operatives went to the conference and planted these buttons, and in an attempt to tie Conservative supporters to the politically toxic Donald Trump. I was having dinner with friends, and I saw some people who I recognized to be Liberal staffers. I overheard the person next to me, a man, who had already identified himself as someone who was working in the Liberal War Room, and he's talking about how he was at the conference and planted these buttons in a Liberal campaign-sanctioned false flag operation. So I confronted him. He knew I was a journalist. I said, if you did that, then that's a story and I'll report it. At first, he conceded that he had said that, but once I said it was going to be a story, he denied having said anything at all. So I left shortly after, and then at a separate bar, a Conservative source told me another Liberal campaign staffer was also talking about it. So the next day, I put in a request for comment with the Liberal Party, and they didn't deny it. It's not unusual for political parties to play tricks like this during a campaign, but it is unusual to hear about it from them.
So even the CBC, this is posted by Canada Proud, even the CBC is utterly disgusted by Mark Carney's constant lying and hoaxes. Let's take a look.
Yeah, look, the statement we got from the party yesterday was crap in terms of, there are stronger words I would like to use. It spoke around the issue without speaking to the issue. It was all this nonsense, passive voice, and it reminded me of the comms troubles they had when they were at 16% in the polls. So, Lisa, I don't know if they've learned from that near-death experience in terms of addressing an issue clearly. The Liberal leader was better at it today, but
he's just mad because he wants the Liberals to win so badly, and he's starting to see a turn in the polling a little bit, and that's why he's mad. He doesn't want the Liberals to blow it after all of their hard work. How about this? This was posted by an oil exec.
The Carney campaign, their main offer is calm and stability and a lack of drama, and this violated that. And then lastly, I want to agree, I think it's, reassigning these staffers to somewhere else in the campaign is really not acceptable. They displayed excessively poor judgment, not just in doing this, but of course in speaking about it in front of a journalist. And yes, I understand these are likely young people who are learning something, but there's a big boys will be boys energy to the way it's been dealt with that I think is no good.
Yeah, to Lisa's point, she named off all the.
Well, I think it's not just a boys will be boys. It's a we have no ethics. We have no ethics, and we haven't the entire time. I think it's more of that energy. From JJ McCullough says, this is wild. Pierre isn't being Trump-like enough for the Liberals, so they have agents creating false conservative campaign merch in an attempt to gaslight the public into accepting their alternate reality. This is true. American politics and Canadian politics are different. We're two different countries. It's different. Canadian campaigns are different from American campaigns. All right. So, but they desperately, the entire campaign is just hate Trump. Just be totally unreasoningly hysterical about Trump. Don't think about the future. Don't think 10 minutes into the future, right? Oh no, our relationship with the States is over. And and our security relationship is over too, even though we can't even defend ourselves, for God's sakes. No, let's not think 15 minutes into the future. Let's just be hysterical and whip up smooth-brained Canadians who know literally nothing that they haven't heard from come out of the mouth of Rosemary Barton. Let's just whip them up into a frenzy, win, and then finish the job of destroying the Canadian economy and all of that Canadian freedom. Warren Kinsella said, this deeply stupid move is going to make those of us in the media now question every single thing the liberal war room generates. Really, really stupid. And I agree with that. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that. Please like, share, and subscribe. Subscribing really helps me out. I thank you for that. I will see you next time.